Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to the next session of Crusader Kings 2. I've been quite busy with work lately, so that's why this session's dragged on a little while, but hey, here I am back again and eager to keep playing. Now, as we left off last time, we went on a search for immortality, and it ended up in complete and utter disaster. Ravn, our ruler, our hero, our main character, upon the death of Harald, ended up passing away. Turns out he did put too much faith into the poisonous words of the African woman who obviously escaped from the court upon the time of his death. Now, I did load some earlier game save files and checked the console, and as it turns out, this woman was indeed the real deal. She wasn't a fake mystic, she was a real one. Which means that this time we actually had a genuine chance of succeeding with the immortality questline. And that, I don't know what makes me off the most. The fact that we came so close yet again to legendary greatness, and we stumbled, or just the fact that it's so damn easy to fail in this goddamn quest line. Well, either way, we knew it was a leap of faith. Ravn knew it was a leap of faith, but he chose to go along with it. But still, I can't help but feel what a waste of a character. Like, what a massive shame it is, because he had so much more left to give to this world. Like, look at these stats. He's brawny and brave, charitable and kind, he's hard-working, scarred in battle, a veteran of the Varangian Guard, a proud man. And yet his short rule came to be defined by little else than his cancer. The one thing that clouded his judgment so much that eventually it was all that he focused on. So now we move straight on to his heir and successor, Harald II. Well, it doesn't say the second, but he is the second ruler of Skåne, which means, funnily enough, we're into the third generation. The third generation of rulers here. Now, I took a little bit of liberties. I took the liberty of adjusting the coat of arms a little bit, because it turns out you can use this customize house button to change the shields, kind of the same way you can use the barber function to change the hairstyle and beards of your character. It's a function I basically never use, because I don't like the idea of just changing things back and forth. I prefer things to, I'm not opposed to changing things around, but if you're not allowed to change things, that means at the start you think twice before choosing your symbols and your names and such. If you just enable people to be able to change that afterwards, then we're not going to put down thought into the things we do, and that's kind of a shame. But never mind. All I did was change the size and the shape of the bird. The design is virtually the same. The colors are all the same. And it has to do with the backstory I've got in mind for Harald II here. But I just wanted to take the time to illustrate that most folks of the second generation, they're still alive and kicking. Hallgrim and Holmgir are both running their own respective realms in Rygen and Livland respectively. What's interesting to notice though is that they've selected two entirely different approaches to rulership. While Hallgrim has chosen to be mostly a loyal vassal, he's the steward and the commander of Hård Knud, and he's chosen to put himself in the good graces of his liege, hoping he'll be able to groom an heir and grow a powerful dynasty, or well, a powerful family branch from the base of his island here. Whereas Holmgir has chose pretty much the opposite path. He's made no secret of the fact that he wants to be king of Estonia. He's joined the faction for independence, meaning he would join a potential uprising, hoping to break off from Sjaelland and form a kingdom of his own. And in the middle of all of this, the main patriarch of the family just up and dies under suspicious circumstances for listening too much to this weird foreign woman whom nobody else trusted, whom nobody else liked, and whom nobody else even wanted there. And she's gone for good now. We don't know what happened to her. But nevertheless, it is time for a new ruler to step into the frame. Let's look at Harald of Skåne here. If you'll remember from the last session, he gained the ambitious trait because his father more or less broke off relations with him. I'm still not entirely sure why you end up breaking off relations with your children as a means to make them ambitious. That I don't quite see what I don't see where it conflicts to raise your child to be ambitious and at the same time loving and caring them as your own kids, basically. What I'm thinking is he was raised to be a warrior, so I think he had the traits willful and rowdy, which are the classical traits you get when you're raised with a warrior education. But I noticed he's also a little bit indolent. Like he doesn't like to put down an effort to doing things. He does what he can to avoid any form of activity, any form of labor, anything that requires him to really put down some work in. Jeez, I feel like I can't talk today. I'm probably tired from work, but I felt I had to get back and do another session, because I get too restless when I don't get to play. No, but he was groomed to be a ruler, but I think deep down he was still a child, you know? He was aware of the fact that one day he would rule, but it was like, nah, that's gonna be later. My father's young, he ain't gonna die for another 20 years, so I'm just gonna take the opportunity to live life. I'm gonna mess around, I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna go out and see girls, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends, and I'm gonna just live the luxurious life of a Viking prince. But no, Ravn would have none of it. Ravn, I'm not gonna say he knew he was gonna die, but he kept constantly fearing for the day when he was about to pass. And so he decided that young Harald needs to grow up, and he needs to grow up immediately. So he gave him not just a good talking to, he pretty much just turned the boy's life upside down, forced him to focus on his studies, forced him to focus on his swordsmanship, to go train with the troops and join him as he managed the realm pretty much. He was deprived of, you know, your typical teenage life. Not that Viking teenagers ever had a teenage life, but you know what I mean, you know what I mean. He was taken away from pleasure and recreation and forced to dedicate his entire waking hours to solely learning rulership until he eventually did grow up, until he eventually did develop that ambitious nature of his father and his grandfather. But well, when you forcibly instill something in a child, the child does end up holding grudges. I think Harald loved his father, he doesn't think ill of him, but for as long as Ravn was alive, Harald was holding some grudges. Like, he didn't look upon him with the same admiration as he might have done when he grew up. Especially when he started surrounding himself with Amita, I think she was called, the African woman whom would later claim her life. So it's kind of a mixed bag, really. He's looking back on the memory of his father with mixed feelings. Like, yes, he loved the man that raised him, and he considers himself proud. He considers himself proud of where he's from. Like, if you look back at his heritage, he is the grandson of the Great Bear himself. Like hell, he even bears his name. He is the son of the Raven. Do you remember that Ravn is actually the old Norse word for raven? So like, this guy's name is literally Raven. So he's the son of the Raven, descendant of the Great Bear. Hence why we got a raven in our coat of arms. Maybe Harald's the one that ended up designing this coat of arms. Maybe he's the one that decided to put the raven on it in memory of his father, but he refers to himself as the descendant of the Great Bear, using the fact that he was named after the Great Bear. So yeah, I thought that was a really nice analogy. And I wonder, how's his Swedish heritage gonna come into play? Because we know his lineage from his father's side, but if you think about it, he's also a descendant of Jarl Björn Järnsida of Swithjod, because his daughter Svanhild is Harald's mother. By the time she dies, we are gonna have a claim on Swithjod and Pomerania here. So while our immediate goal is going to be to establish the Duchy of Skåne, we're going to see if we can't aim just that little bit further down the line. Because bear in mind, Harald is an ambitious fellow. Judging from these here traits, I don't think they really... I don't think it tells us whether he is a good person or a bad person. As you can see, these icons here are marked, you know, they're a bit grayish, meaning that they can be used both ways. It's they're all quite ambiguous. He's honest, he's ambitious, and he's stubborn. Like, you can be stubborn in a good way and a bad way. You can be honest in a good way and a bad way. So, like, we haven't gotten ourselves an idea of what kind of morals and scruples this young man's got. But one thing that's for sure is that he's very headstrong. Once he's got his mind set on something, he does not waver. He does not change his way of thinking, and he does not back down from any objective that he's set. Combine that with the ambitious trait, and I think we're gonna we're gonna have our most driven and our most accomplished ruler yet. I don't think Harald is gonna give much a crap about claims. He's just gonna be claiming Blekinge and Bornholm afterwards in a simple border dispute. He ain't gonna care that much about prestige. His father already had plenty of prestige, as did his grandfather. He is the descendant of great Viking warriors. He is the son of some of the most accomplished Norse warriors that this world has ever seen. Like, what the hell does he need prestige for? These lands were supposed to belong to us from the very beginning. As rulers of Skåne, as the strongest local sovereigns of the southern lands of Sweden, nobody has a stronger claim than us on the lands that naturally forms, or is going to form, the future High Chiefdom of Skåne. That's how Harald reasons, and that's why he believes he needs no prestige to claim the lands, nor claims. He's just going to take it as soon as he comes of age and as soon as he can make his own decisions. We've got the money for it, and we damn well got the troops for it. And as if ambition wasn't enough of a reason, if you'll remember this here one-legged raider, who now finds himself all the way down here, he was over here looting and pillaging our lands. Now, Ravnen didn't know much of it because he was over here, but Harald, still a child at the time, must have been hiding inside the forest in fear of the one-legged raider who was threatening to take his lands, take his money, maybe even hurt his loved ones. And this guy here of House Blake is actually the brother of Chief Refr of Blekinge here. Now, I don't think the brother here appreciates his raider sibling any more than we do, but that doesn't really matter, because the way Harald sees it, as ruler of the lands and patriarch of the family, he should have kept better control of his family members. The fact that one of his family members comes to our lands to loot and pillage without him even sanctioning it, well, he probably did, but, you know, it just adds to his argument that a ruler that's not capable of keeping control of his family should not be left responsible ruling the lands. So no, we're going to come in, we're going to take the liberty to claim what should rightfully be ours. Our grandfather couldn't do it because he succumbed to a state of contentedness. Our father couldn't do it because he fell ill and he was so obsessed with the idea of life and death that he ended up dying before he had a chance of living. Where these men have failed, we shall succeed. We will make up for their shortcomings and grant our dynasty the glory and the respect it so deserves. So with that in mind, we're going to get this here ball rolling. After we sort out a few things, we're gonna continue to vote to Sigurd Knudsson, because once again, there's no real reason to do anything else. We're going to vote for our second brother Geir for the time being. If anything happens to us, we'll allow the inheritance to pass on in Ravn's branch of the family, because Hallgrim and Holmgeir, they've got their own branches now. Björn is still down there in Prague, and Hafrid's children aren't in our line, so it only makes sense we stick to this side of things. And oh, that reminds me, upon the death of Ravn, another child was just suddenly born, inheriting some of Ravn's traits. This guy Vagn, whom we did not get to control, whom we did not get to I was gonna say baptize, whom we did not get to name. And I'm a bit hesitant as to his status. Like, our father dies and this random baby just shows up. Is he a bastard? Is he somebody that's just been appeared as a result of divine intervention? Or is it just the remains of the witchcraft of some shady foreigner? We don't know. But we don't trust this baby. We don't trust this child. But since I can't really take action on him right now, like we can't exactly go and dump him in the woods, I guess we're just going to leave him. Maybe we'll give him like a religious upbringing or something, turn him into an anonymous priest and just send him off somewhere. Just raising him with the idea that you weren't born to be anything special, even though he technically was. But anyways, I'll put some thought into his story at a later time. Right now I just want to get cracking with the game. We'll hold off and see what this indolent trait turns into. It can develop potentially into charitable, slothful, or gluttonous. Now I'll be willing to work with anything except slothful. We get slothful, that's like the content trait of Harald the First, that's just gonna ruin everything. There's like no point being ambitious if you're also slothful. But we'll hang fire, we'll play the game, see what trait we get, and then take it from there. Because if you don't know it by now, roleplay and hence traits play a big part in this here campaign. We want to play the rulers as they emerge from the story, regardless of what we the players think of it. So yeah, let's reappoint the council. Gunhild, our step-grandmother, I guess she'd be, she remains the regent, which means she retains her seat as Marshal. We're still going to keep Brynjolf around while he's still alive at the ripe old age of 76. We'll send him to fabricate claims in Bornholm, but like I said, we ain't necessarily gonna be waiting for no claims. We're gonna go and take what is ours, cause it's been long overdue. Now, we are going to appoint a new steward, though. We're going to appoint this guy here, Sörkver, because we do need our own little addition to the council. One that's not just a continuation of former rulers' policy. Same thing with the spy master. We're going to take Iliana here. We're gonna give her like an honorary title too. Yeah, she can be the law speaker. Just to keep her sweet, just to make sure she's on our side and doesn't plot against us. She's one of the daughters of this here Baron who lost his castle, and the game kept wanting Harald to tutor his daughters, which we said no. We didn't ask to tutor these children, just get away from us, but apparently she turned out to be a hell of a good spy master, so she's the spy master now. And, I think that's it. I don't think anything else happened in the world that's worth mentioning. We've got peace in England. Scotland surrounded. Jorvik is still at war with Suðuroyar, above all. Things are pretty quiet in Ireland. France are still waging war on Aquitaine, and he seems to be winning it. The Umayyads are at peace. But Aquitaine's being attacked from behind by a local Muslim lord over here, who's declared a holy war for Aquitaine, actually. So, the more the Muslims push into Europe here, the sooner we might see the start of the Crusades. The Crusades may start from the year 900 and onwards, so, and it's 906 now, so it ain't impossible. And Italy's just a royal mess. Venice wants to take over some city. They're in a rivalry war with Milan, whatever that means. And Savoy wants to claim Piemonte. This place. Yeah. And King Jocelyn's helping out Aquitaine in their holy war, but at least he's got control of his lands, which can't really be said about the other Italian king. Gotzelin of East Francia and Bavaria is fighting off some revolters and I was gonna say minor invasions, they're not really minor, but you know. Byzantine Empire fighting off a revolt. Somebody else wants to take the throne. But I think that was pretty much all that was worth mentioning. I think I've been going on a little longer than I intended to, but we'll just have to make up for that lost time with some more gameplay. And now, without further ado, let's release the pause button and see what the game throws at us. Yep, she's the regent, as I expected she would be. Another year has passed. Harald was born in July, which means we only got roughly 6 more months to wait. And our mom is our guardian. Going to make sure of that right now. Where are you, Svanhild? Mom, where are you? For some reason we can't make her the guardian. Now why is that? Oh, because she's tutoring our other kids. Can we take a break? Can she take a break for a while? What's she good at? She's good at... Let's make her an intrigue girl. Let's get whoever's best at intrigue, you, to teach my sister, so that my mom can be my guardian. There we go, perfect. One of the reasons I'm picking her specifically is she's got the diligent trait, which I'm hoping is going to offset the slothful trait. So if Harald does get the idea he wants to be slothful, he'll have his mom to tell him otherwise. As the Breton Holy War has been won by Namsborg, we've managed to defend ourselves from the onslaught of the Catholics, and that is fan-flipping-tastic. Well done, sir. Well done. After father's funeral, I'm approached by his old friend Hafrid. And Hafrid, who was very good friends with Ravn, in fact, as I outlined previously. They were particularly close together, got along very well, more so than what Ravn did with any of his other siblings, I might add. Anyways, Father wanted Hafrid to look after me. She's offering me her friendship and protection. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Auntie. I appreciate that very much. I guess Ravn must have taken very much care of her when she got back from, you know, her abduction, having been taken by that Norwegian warlord. Ravn must have been very accepting and understanding in allowing her to bring her children and raise them here as if they were part of our family, and now she's showing that same gesture in return for Ravn, his oldest son. And who are we to deny such kindness? Thank you very much, Auntie. Thank you very much. Can we make her like an honorary title? You know what? We might as well make her a shield maiden. I mean, she's a member of the Wolf Warriors, and she's got some fighting skill in her. We're most likely not gonna marry her off now. Don't think she wants to be married off anyways, because she's homosexual. She'd rather sleep around with women, like I said. She's already had her share of men wanting her, so let's appoint her a shield maiden. I knew I was right to trust my gut regarding Hafrid. The woman has accepted my proposal, and she is now my shield maiden. Oh yes, she's a shield maiden now. Ha 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 ha. Ha! He who laughs last laughs the longest. Finally, that soft... Oh, Jesus, is that a way to talk about your father, dude? That soft invalid Ravn left this fine earth. While everything will definitely be better without him, I have a lot of extra time on my hands now. Ugh. Oh, come on, dude. I'm blaming that on his teenage hormones or something. He's 15 years old, he's a bit emotional. I don't think he's rejoicing over the death of his father. That's a little bit a step too far. Okay, no, I'm not gonna make myself rivals with Hafrid, not after we just accepted her friendship. We don't necessarily want to be kind. Well, we wouldn't mind being honorable, but I'm gonna wait and see what the game does with the indolent trait first, because that's gonna kind of determine what kind of a personality he's gonna be. I'm already ruling out slothful, so it's a matter of whether he becomes gluttonous or charitable. Is he somebody that's generous in terms of both money and being generous with friends? Or is he someone that's greedy? Greedy with food and greedy in terms of, you know, other forms of richness. Lands, money, wealth, prestige, glory. We'll allow the game to determine that one. In the meantime, we're not going to touch these specifically moralistic traits if we can help it. So we're just gonna say that he's taken enough of our feelings and emotions, and now that he's gone, there is just no reason to think about him that way anymore. So there we go. Horde Knud ain't doing much at the moment. There's a time of peace in the realm, as he's just turned 50. He's coming near the end of his life as well. Yeah, he's the new leader of that faction. We might actually join the Independence faction at some point, because by the time we get all these lands that we need, we're gonna need to be independent anyways to get our high chiefdom. Okay, that was pretty much... Oh, hold on. Hold on a minute. Is this the last hurrah of Horde Knud the Oppressor here? He's preparing to invade Lotharingia. He's given himself 2 years to amass a grand invasion army, and he wants to take that one. He wants to take that and set sail on Lotharingia here. Like, wow. He must have taken a page out of the book of Frisia here and figured this piece of land here is easy pickings. Well, not easy pickings maybe, but the easiest form of pickings. Like, he can take on West Francia, he can take on Aquitaine, he certainly can take on the combined kingdoms of East Francia and Bavaria, but he can take on Lotharingia. It's been ruled by weak rulers, not incompetent rulers necessarily, but weak rulers, and they've been losing out lands to rebellions and Viking raiders from the start, really. Right from the start. Hold on, what the hell is this? Hold on just a second. Have you noticed who's gonna be the heir when Jocelyn dies? Jocelyn is sick with food poisoning. His son, Duke Louis, died of dysentery. And so when he dies, the heir is gonna be none other than this dweeb right here. Some random, hair-lipped, muscular Muslim dude who's all the way out here. How the hell's the realm gonna pass on to him? What's the inheritance law here? It's Gavelkind. But how the hell are these people heirs to the realm? And he's a Muslim heretic. He's an Ibadi. I'm not quite sure how the game's thinking here, but yeah, that's weird. We're gonna have to keep our eye out for that, see how that develops. Time passes by far too quickly. I give my long ramblings, then half the damn session's already passed, and oh, that's typical, that's typical. At the ripe old age of 77, our most talented Chancellor finally passes away. And like, he did amazingly well. He gave us tons and tons of claims, which we never made proper use of, cause, well, our previous rulers were idiots, not seizing upon the opportunities given to us by this here game. That's what the content trait does for you. Once again, that is why I hate the content trait in this game with a passion. Okay, this is our ugly brother Tutil, who would be best suited for either an education in diplomacy or in learning. And now I think since he's scoring pretty well on learning anyways, he's got a higher skill of martial than learning, but he's developed the opposite traits that would be befitting of a martial education. Like, you know, he's timid, he's loving and caring, he holds a heightened, naive, and romanticized view of the good in mankind, and that's not really gonna benefit him if he's trained in the arts of war. So let him make up with brains what he's lacking in appearance, and let's give him a learning focused education, because why not? It's only about time that a member of our family becomes a more learned man. Now let's go find ourselves a new chancellor, because I don't think we've got any other chancellor. You see, the next best chancellor is our 2 commanders, and then we've got one with a skill of 4. Now that's just absolute crap. So we're going to search all for men not imprisoned, no rulers, diplomatic range, and preferably within our religion, because that's going to keep it within Scandinavia, because seeing as we're only a mere chief, our reach isn't that great. But hold on, we seem to have a damn good dude just across the border here in Värend. Pysing, who's been made spy master, would actually be much better suited as a diplomat. So we're going to send him a small gift just to get on his good graces, and then we're gonna invite him to our court. See if we can't make him an offer he'll not want to refuse. Yeah, he took his wife with him. That's perfectly reasonable. So we're going to appoint him as our new chancellor. Now we've really reshuffled the cabinet here, made it our own council of nobles, thus really establishing Harald's own rule, which is his own, not just a continuation of his father and grandfather, as we make our chancellor fabricate a claim on Bornholm. Yeah, okay. I think we can remove... Actually, we're not going to remove. I kind of want to know what happens. I kind of want to know what's going to happen with my uncles and my cousin in Prague. The regency has ended. We have finished our education in the ways of war, and we've got quite a bit of talent for it. That's great. Okay, so he became gluttonous. It ain't the best trait to have, but I'll work with gluttonous rather than slothfulness. So let us take a look. Ooh! Take a look at him! Wow! He's a damn carbon copy of Harald! What? Oh, are you shitting me? Are you absolutely shitting me? No! No! Oh, for fuck's sakes. It turned out slothful either way. Well, let's just say he's slothful in the sense that he doesn't like to perform any chores. But he ain't gonna be slothful in terms of, you know, seizing lands and such. Maybe he won't be too eager to command troops and the like, but we're still gonna go out to war, damn it. We're still going out to war. Okay. And we're not going to bother about acquiring a title from a liege. No, I think Harald, with his ambitious mind here, is gonna look beyond even that. We're going to look towards being exalted. We want to be the most exalted man in the history of our dynasty. We are going, though, to pick a war-based focus, because we are trained in war, and he's gonna want to get his dueling skill up a little bit either way. We're gonna find somebody to marry. I don't think there's much we can do in terms of alliances and claims, so I'm just going to look for a woman with a good set of traits. So have we got any geniuses? We've got little 3-year-old Alfred here, but we don't really want to wait another 13 years to get married, because that would be a horrible idea. Do we got somebody that's quick? A 36-year-old Slavic priestess, or a 9-year-old Norse girl? Okay, she's related to that guy up there, but I don't think we'll take any of them either. How about an attractive girl? Ooh, we got quite a few attractive people to choose from. But honestly, I think it'd be a slight step. You know what? We're gonna give ourselves a few extra minutes here. We've hardly even scratched the surface of Harald here. I know most of it is narrative, but I want to stay with him a little while longer before we leave off for today. What I was gonna say is that it's probably a step too far to have him marry a random girl who lives all the way up here just because he's heard tales of her good looks. She's of a different nationality, she's of a different culture. It's better to say culture. Forget I said nationality because nations didn't exist today. She's of a different religion, she's of a different culture, she's just on a completely different end of the world than where we are. So she's out of the picture. Have we got somebody who's lustful? We don't. So how about we use the character tab here then? We want a woman who's not imprisoned and not married. Probably not a ruler either. But we want her to be in diplomatic range. And she's going to be within the pagan religion group. We do want someone within our religion, but we're going to search across the board a little bit just to see what the options are. So we want geniuses, a 34-year-old Tangri woman, but that's not a good option. Quick. Oh Jesus, these options were even worse. Attractive. We got a bastard girl struck down with camp fever. That doesn't seem to me as a pretty good option. Or is the 16-year-old girl again, or a 38-year-old woman? Lustful. Okay, lustful spelled with one L. I didn't know that. Well, most of these options are pretty damn paltry. Oh, hold on a minute. This girl here, look! She's kind and just, but she's lustful and she's ambitious. She's Midas touched, which means she's got the highest education in stewardship. She finds herself all the way up in Iceland. I'm not entirely sure how Harald, new ruler of Skåne, would have heard of a local peasant girl from all the way up here. But she's such a damn good candidate. She would be the kind of woman we'd want to marry for sure. Much better than anybody who's Tengri or Slavic, at the very least. She's better in intrigue, but she's got a few vices about her. She's angry and envious. I don't know if I want an angry and envious courtier. And all these other people are too old. She's ugly. As well as the child of a concubine. That's not befitting of a ruler. She's Remova and she's 38. You know what? I think I'm gonna go with this lowborn girl anyways. We'll make up a story of how... I don't know. Maybe she had better plans for herself. Maybe she was living in like an abusive, restricted family or something. So she figured out a way to sneak on board a trade ship. And that ship was coming all the way down here to Skåne. Harald caught the side of her and decided he wanted to marry her. Like, that's pretty much how the first Harald met Beata. She wasn't much before she married him, and they fell happily in love together in a way, and had lots of... Oh, hold on. Ooh! Wait a second! Hafrid! Hafrid, what's happened to you? You're in the Wolf Warriors. Are we part of the Wolf Warriors? She's a hero Eid! Wow! She's got the highest rank of the Warriors, Hafrid is. That is amazing! Well, we haven't joined there, have we? No, we haven't joined them yet. Sjaelland is still a legend in there. No, but anyways, what I was trying to say with this long-winded rant is, if Harald the First and Beata made it work, we can make it work with this girl. So let's propose a marriage between us. I don't even care, we're gonna be paying with prestige. Let us get married. She's arrived at our court. Since we've lost prestige, we're gonna need to bring some of it back by abstaining from paying for the wedding. And he agrees, because why the hell shouldn't he? Now you do need to pay with prestige to declare these here wars, so I figure it's going to take a while, but that's okay, because we can go out doing some looting and pillaging. Like, he is a lazy sod, so he ain't gonna want to put down a damn lot of effort, but I figure he'll want to do something anyways. Like he's not gonna be the kind of person to sit around and wait around. Like, he wants the power, and he wants the glory, and he wants the food too. He just doesn't like doing it himself. He prefers others to go and do his shit for him. I don't think he's going to be quite as honorable and respectable as his father and grandfather was. The traits just don't indicate he's gonna be that kind of person. But anyways, I'm gonna leave that particular bit for the next session. Right now I just felt it was important to kickstart Harald's reign, get the character adult, get him married and everything, and get ourselves properly set up for when we start the conquests for real. So I want to thank you all for joining me once again. Hope you'll check back again next time. So I hope you'll have a good day, a good evening, and a good night wherever in the world you may be. And I shall see you again soon.